Referencing and Research, a guide for University of Buckingham Business School students. So this is me. My name's Juliet, and I'm telling you, hey, referencing is important. Why should you believe me? Maybe because I'm nice and I know lots of stuff, or because of that and readily available evidence that this is my specialist area, plus the support of a reputable institution, which together equals, yeah, you can believe me on this one. Referencing is important, and I'm an authority on referencing. So what is referencing? Referencing is coded information included in university assignments to inform the reader or viewer of the sources used to complete the work. In other words, referencing is how you tell us who's got your back. At university, everyone is required to show what resources they have used to formulate their response to a set task. This provides a quality assurance check for your work and for your research conclusions. Mark is assessed in part based on evidence that you have used reliable information sources and valued tools, such as models or theories, to inform your thinking. In business, your studies are a preparation ground for your future problem-solving actions. Universities award qualifications that underwrite your ability to research and think about problems in responsible and systematic ways. Referencing makes responsibility part of the writing process, in the hope that checking your sources and backing up your opinions will become a lifelong habit of mind. Being rigorous with yourself about where you take information from and how you use it will ensure that your recommendations remain sound long after you leave university. And that means you have to learn the referencing code. So what does that involve? Well, in the University of Buckingham Business School, we use Harvard referencing style. It is a name-date style that uses in-text citations, not footnotes at the end of each page. An in-text citation has brief information that contains enough detail to link with a specific item in a reference list where full details about your sources are provided. Part 1 of the code. Each time you borrow from an information source, insert an in-text citation into your writing or presentation. It will look like this. Source details appear immediately after borrowed information, so in-text citations are kept as brief as possible to avoid confusing your reader. A citation is the family name of your author and the year of publication in brackets, placed at the end of a sentence or the paragraph it refers to before the full stop. Sometimes the author's name may be part of your sentence, in which case only the year appears in brackets. So far, I've been putting Smith's ideas into my words. This is called paraphrase. To quote Smith's exact words, I have to add 2 details. First, I place quote marks around the words that are exactly the same as those quoted in Smith. Then, I add a page number to my citation, the exact page I'm quoting them from. But what happens if your information doesn't come from one individual author? Where there is shared authorship of a source, your citation will change a bit. So, for 2 authors, you record both family names before the year. For 3 authors, again, all surnames are recorded. However, for any number more than 3, after the first author's family name, switch to the abbreviation et al. It means and the rest in Latin. This part of the code stops your citation from getting too long. At other times, your information might come from a business website or an official record with no named author. In the absence of an individual author, the organisation is the corporate author, in this case the University of Buckingham. Note In this example, even though we have a quote, there is no page number, and that is because it comes from a website where they weren't provided. Here we have a graph, which also requires a citation. It comes from the website Statista, and that information is included at the bottom, but you will notice that there are no brackets around the citation, as this is common for graphs or graphics or tables. Part 2 of the referencing code. For each source you cite, there must be an entry in a reference list at the end of your work which contains the information required to identify the source and locate it. So here is a citation that by now you should be familiar with. The full reference that matches this citation is provided here. Smith, 2010. So what's been added? First, we have the initial of the author's first name to identify him more completely. Then, after the year, the title of the book is recorded, along with the edition details. Lastly, we have the record of who published the book and where it was published. Together, these additional details ensure that anyone can track down the specific book that you used. So far, we have created a book reference for Smith 2010. However, for different types of sources, different reference details are collected. This reference for an article from an academic journal requires the alternative details of 2 titles. One for the article, which is written first and presented in quote marks, and the other in italics for the journal itself. We then have publication details about the specific volume and issue of the journal, as well as the page numbers on which that article appeared. Note, in this case we have 4 authors, but all of their family names are written in full, and this is one difference between an in-text citation and a reference in your reference list. In the full reference for a web page, we need the title of the specific page that you used or got information from. Then we need the web URL, and we need the date that you looked at this web page. This is because web pages are unstable sources that may move or change. Again, in this example, you will note that there is a corporate author. This web page reports research from several people, but not one of them actually wrote the page, and so the organization's name is used. For other types of sources, different details are collected. That's why you need to keep a copy of the department's Harvard Referencing Guide close by, because there are too many details to remember, for most people anyway. In citations, different types of sources tend to look the same. It is only in the reference list that the difference between them is recorded. A reference list at the end of your assignment will look something like this. Note that the entries are in alphabetical order. Your marker may cross-reference the names and details in this list with the in-text citations in your work to see how you are using your sources. And for that reason, there is one further referencing rule that you should be familiar with: citing secondary sources. Now, take a look at this sentence. It appears to be from a source, Commode 1966. However, the sentence is actually copied complete from a book by a different author who has cited Commode, Egan, 1997. This is what it should look like if it was referenced correctly. Note the quote marks around everything, including the first citation, because it was copied from that book, and the page number that refers us back to Egan's book. However, as you can see, that got rather messy and confusing. We can simplify this by making it clear who is citing who. We have both Commode and Egan in this sentence. However, we have made it clear that Egan was citing Commode and we are quoting Egan. Now there is a bit more to learn, but I understand it's hard going, so here's a cute kitten. Another way that you may come across a secondary resource or source in your reading is when one author refers to a theorist, such as Jerome Brunner. So our author is still Egan, and Brunner is the theorist. Now, if Brunner is important in your work, you will definitely want to track down the original source written by him and cite that. That will make a big difference to how your work is received. However, if you just want to mention his ideas, you may paraphrase them from Egan. Paraphrase is your words, so no quote marks are needed. However, your citation needs to make it clear that you're paraphrasing Egan, not Brunner, who you haven't read. In either case, the only item in your reference list is Egan, not Commode 1996, not Jerome Brunner. Your reference list is a record of the sources that you have read and accessed directly only. Just Egan. Thank you for your time. I hope you found this useful. I'd just like to mention at this point that all graphics and photos used in this presentation are from either openclipart.com or pixels.com, where they have been made freely available for users by the artist under a Creative Commons Zero license. So thanks a lot, guys.